Welcome. I'm going to read Psalm 1, the King James Version, and then I'm going to kind of discuss some of the insights I've picked up that make it one of my favorite Psalms. To start out, I will link the person below who kind of pushed me to get my Psalms together, but I'm reading from a book called Secrets of the Psalms, which is by Godfrey Selig. It is a great book that gets into why Psalms are great and how to use Psalms for different situations. But without further ado, Psalm 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. Now, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. I take that straightforward. You're blessed if you do not do what the ungodly, sinful, or scornful do. We know I'm an occultist, so I'm not going to sit here and talk about sin. But you all know, we all know that that's a personal path. I'm just not going to be one to judge right now. But the bottom line is, walk not in the counsel or the advice of the ungodly. Do not stand in the way of people who are sinning. Do not sit in the seat of the scornful. Do not place yourself where you know the ungodly, the sinful, and the scornful are. By walking not in the counsel or the advice of the ungodly, you avoid doing ungodly things. By not getting in the way of sinners, you avoid being a victim of sin. And by not sitting in the seat of the scornful, you are not picking up the energy and hate of the anger they're leaving in their environment and the poison they are spreading. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. However God's word is meant to come to you, it will. And God's word will not always come to you in biblical form, which is one of the lessons I have learned in the stuff that I've done. So you will know in your heart when the law of the Lord is hitting you, and it will have you thinking about it day and night until you adjust your behavior accordingly. And your delight it will be in those adjusted behaviors because you will see the benefits of those changes. You will be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth his fruit in season. Your leaf will not wither, and everything you do shall prosper. Being rooted where God is placing you in particular, away from the ungodly, sinful, and scornful, is going to prosper you and root you and ground you and create stability that you might be struggling with. The ungodly are not so. They are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Um, yeah, they're going to scatter. They're going to be to and fro. They're not going to have that stability because their energy is filled with everything that blocks their prosperity. Therefore, they're not going to stand in the congregation of the righteous or stand in the judgment. They're going to be scattered. They're going to be blown away. They're not even going to be around to experience the power of the blessing that comes from being rooted in the right energy. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. God knows the way of the righteous. He knows the way of those who listen. But the way of those who are ungodly will perish. So again, as an occultist, we know that I'm not going to sit here and tell you what you shouldn't be doing with your personal sins. But this is my interpretation, and I will say that my understanding and interpretation deepens and it changes, and it's my interpretation, so I'm not saying it must be yours. But I will give you this uh, opinion and perspective because when you start to read the Bible for yourself, in whatever version works for you will pick up what you need to pick up, and you will understand that the Bible is a very, very powerful book. But there's just a lot of chaos surrounding how this book is to be interpreted and the things that have happened with it. Yeah.